with Sally Lark coming from Leamington Spa Art Gallery and Museum. You'll notice today that I'm in a different place. I'm actually in my kitchen. I'm sorry if the lighting's not great in here. It's a grey, rainy day today. Anyway, this is the second in the series called Houses, and it's a bit of a different video because it's also a collaboration with Warwickshire Open Studios, and it's part of their workshop season that they're showing as a virtual online Warwickshire Open Studios this year. We're also delighted that they have given us permission to share some of these videos again over the summer as part of our Art at Home series, and I'd just like to say at this point thank you very much for working in collaboration with us. It's much appreciated. So the reason I'm starting at the end is because this video will take you right through the ceramic process, from the making to the firing to the glazing. Now, if you're still planning to do this project and you don't have access to a kiln, do carry on and use some of the techniques that I showed you in earlier videos, for example using wax polish or paint. Anyway, these are my houses that I've made behind me, and as you see the video, I'll show you all the different stages and the creative process that I went through. I've really enjoyed this process, and I basically made little tea light holders. If I show you here, they've got a back to them and they're tea light holders. I also made one which I enjoyed making, which is more of a vase where you can put water in it and then a flower comes out of the chimney. And as per usual with ceramics, I needed to make more than one. And they kind of represent for me some of the more positive things about lockdown. And I've actually placed them right in front of my kitchen sink because it's kind of apt, because I kind of feel we've spent quite a lot of time in our kitchens over the last few weeks. And I'd just like to leave you with these. I'm quite pleased with them. But now, once again, my mantra, repeat learning. I feel like I probably need to do it again and I could do even better. But I think as a little family, they work quite well together. Now, if you're making a ceramic house, if you live locally and you've got some clay, do contact the gallery, and in due course we would see if we could potentially fire them for you. I could do them in my studio at home, and then we're hoping to have a little display of all the houses that different people have made. But in the meantime, if you do have a go at making a lockdown house, try and somehow to bring some of that feeling of lockdown to an object, then do get in touch with us. Anyway, enjoy the video, enjoy the process that I've been through. Just to say, although I plan and have a kind of plan of where I'm going, my ideas do evolve as I play, and playing is fun, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So enjoy this video, and thank you for watching the series of clay on a tray. Here are the houses a bit closer up because they were hard to see on the video. You'll see where the plants that I've enjoyed walking past have been inlaid into the clay, and then my little story about how I've actually enjoyed having my big children back at home. It's been lovely. And then little baby house at the end, and then if I step back you can see them again. I'll add a photo in a minute when it's dark, but I've got to wait a few hours. Here we are a few hours later, shining in the dark. So sketching in my sketchbook is the first part of the journey. I also searched on websites like Pinterest and found that I was really interested in matte looking textured houses, not shiny posh finished ones. On my walking as well, I realised that one of the things I love most about lockdown are all the hedgerows and plants and bushes that I've seen on my walks. So I collected some of those as well. So now I went to the point where I started to make my first house, and starting making is still part of the process. So first of all, I made my slabs like I've shown you on other videos, and I rolled some of those plants, grasses, bits of half-dead cow parsley, which seemed to be very effective. I adore cow parsley and got a bit carried away. I also made some paper templates which helped me with the shape. Getting your clay to the right dryness is very important, and I used a heat gun for this, or you can just leave it overnight so it's sort of leather hard like cheese. If you work with really wet clay, it's not going to be a good idea. So here are my house shapes starting to evolve. I'm not one for measuring, so I did sort of have to cut them as I go and cut bits off the edge. Very, very importantly though, I did use the scratch and slip method using water and a toothbrush to make sure they were carefully joined. Now, I didn't want my houses to look too perfect. I wanted them to remind me of some of the sheds and farmhouse buildings that look intriguing, that you want to go into, that I've seen, particularly when walking over fields near Warwick. I wanted there to be no obvious doors, because I wasn't sure how I was going to get out. I also included some words on some of my houses. Some of them were the key words that I'd thought of when I was planning the project. Others were slogans like stay at home or NHS, things that have been key words around lockdown. I've also used different types of clay. Here you can see some textured stoneware clay and now some black clay. And you can see I made quite a lot of houses. I got a bit carried away. And here they all are lining up, ready for the kiln. You can see the contrast in clays already starts to change the aesthetic, the colours. I also have added little birds and things using nichrome wire, and I'll tell you about that at some point. On some of my houses, I also wrote little stories, quite personal things about my lockdown experience. I enjoyed on this pot talking about how all my big children have come home, but actually I secretly have loved it. So my houses were all dry, and here they are in the kiln, ready for their first biscuit firing. And as if by magic, a day later, here they are, and that's them fired. So now we're ready for the glazing process. So you can see my test glazes ready, laid out, and here are the biscuit houses ready for decorating. I know which colours I want to use because I know about my glazes, and I've got them laid out on the table, picking different shades and different colours. Here is a white glaze which is just ready for stirring and mixing, gloopy and loopy and delicious. Now I applied glaze to these houses by dipping them in the glaze after it was nicely mixed up. Here you can see one that's been completely dipped, and the effect I was looking for was to scrape most of the glaze off so that you pick up the texture. And you can see I've done this. This is going to be a blue glaze on a stoneware pot. At the moment it's bright green. The trouble is with glazing is that it's a bit like painting with the wrong colours, because until they've gone into the kiln you can only just imagine how they're going to look. So it feels a bit high risk, and it's one of the things I love about ceramics, that you put all this grey, powdery, unattractive stuff on them, and I'm really, really excited to show you how they're going to turn out after they've been fired in the kiln. So here they all are, ready with their glaze on them, and this is me packing the kiln, ready to take them on their exciting journey to 1260 degrees, and I hope you'll enjoy the results in a minute. So here we are 2 days later, having said goodbye to those dusty houses that had been glazed, and I'm really, really pleased with the results. You'll see, I don't know if you can see, the purple ones, which was a green colour, have come out really well. There you can see the purple inside, and the black clay is lovely when it's fired. It's difficult to work with. And the reason the wire hasn't melted is because it's special wire made of nichrome, which doesn't melt in the kiln. So that's a slightly more specialist piece of equipment. So anyway, exciting. One of the best moments ever is opening the kiln, especially when everything comes out really well. Thank you for watching.